Every song that I sing to you tonight from the Van Halen songbook, I wrote the words, I wrote the melodies, the stuff you sing for the choruses, the harmonies. If you're singing it, Roth was bringing it. And of course, brought colossal guitars, right? But what most folks don't know is that most of the songs that I'm singing to you tonight, we started to write back when Ed still lived at home. And when Ed lived at home, it was a lot like when, you know, my dad was just starting on the GI Bill back in school. He was just starting college. We lived in a place about the size of his drum major. And ironically enough, I think the word is ironic, I started off in a little alcove that was just big enough for a washer, a dryer, and me. And Ed had the same shit at a tiny little house in Pasadena, California. And he would sit, I get emotional. He would sit on a piece of front rubber, sitting on some cinder blocks, and it was so small, I would sit on the amp case, which was just right, and our knees would touch. We were so small there, right? And he wasn't allowed to plug into the amp because his mom was a real spitfire. She wouldn't tolerate the noise. So he had to play on a guitar that wasn't plugged in. And I had to learn most of the songs that he started to show me on the guitar and stuff like that. You go like this. And I would hear it on an electric guitar that wasn't plugged in at about this far. When I showed him this song here, this was coming out of 1973. I just graduated out of high school. And this was a wild time. We had bands like Steely Dan, Emerson, Lake and Palmer, all these characters, right? So the original song of what I'm about to play you is the way I used to play it. I auditioned every Sunday night at the Ice House in Pasadena for almost 2 years and never got the job. And this is the way I used to play this song before we shortened it up for rock and roll.
Ice cream man!
Yeah, sometimes your baby needs something to keep you cool. Yeah, sometimes your baby needs something to keep you cool. You better look out there, I got something for you. Just about 11 o'clock. But I'm just passing by just about 11 o'clock. And if 11 for you one time, people reckon to stop. Stop me and pass it by. Well, I should leave. Stop me and pass it by. See, all my flavor, I'm guaranteed to satisfy. Yeah. song. Yes,